Hey, there.
I, I had nothing, as I told Paul 10 seconds before the show started. So my office is right upstairs. That's where I typically just copy some headlines in to talk about for today. I came down to this
Mhm.
machine, and OneNote decided not to sync them.
It's going to pop up notification from Adobe Photoshop Express, which tells me I can add a vintage effect to my images using the new grain adjustment option. That seems like a really important notification.
Yeah, yeah.
Allow me to uninstall that app right now. Anyhow,
Hey,
anyway,
where did my mouse go? Oh, there it is. See the joys of Miracast. You can see there's a mouse up here, but that's not my real mouse. You can actually just get it to stick if you move the mouse too quickly off the screen.
yes, I remember that well.
It's
Just stick the mouse to the corner of the mouse cursor to the corner of the screen.
Paul, you know what is happening approximately, I would guess, 120 feet away from me right now that is going to ruin probably the next 48 hours of my life?
No.
My neighbor is getting a new roof.
Well, it will come to an end. So in other words, this involves all of the removal of shingles, the hammering of nails.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could go work in a coffee shop for a day or two.
Well, I'm actually figuring that the heat is just going to have them stroke out, and the problem's going to take care of itself for a couple days.
Yeah, literally today is probably going to be the hottest day of the month.
Yep.
You know? Yeah.
Yep. I've been saying I need to cut my grass a couple days. It looks like we're going to get some mild relief maybe on Thursday. But yeah.
I thought you were going to say it was just going to die from the fire. But
That is also a possible probability at this point.
yeah.
Possible probability. I don't even know if that made sense, but you know what? Here we are with no show notes, so we're just going to wing it off the front page. I vaguely remember what I was going to. Oh,
well, we should mention the Ignite stuff at the very
Yeah.
least. I've already gotten lots of email. Probably could have seen that one coming. But yeah, so we have a post up about this on Thurrott.com, mostly about what's happening at Ignite. And so Brad and I are doing the podcast from the show, obviously. Kind of weird this year. And aside from the Podcast Center being in a different, is it Podcast Center or Podcast Studio?
So that's a very good question because there is a difference. People are probably listening and saying, hey, what the hell? So there is a podcast studio.
Okay.
Or I think that's the correct term. That is like what you would think. It's got a stage, It's got microphones, it's got seating for people to come and enjoy. And then there's also a pop-up podcast studio.
Which is like a terrarium.
Yes, this is where there's a gerbil water feeder in the corner and a little dish.
Like a thing coming down so I can get a drink?
Yeah, so that's where we'll be on Monday.
Yeah, so right. Not only is the podcast studio in a different location, but we're only using it for one of the two shows. So the first show, I think people could still see it. It's just in the middle of the hall.
Can.
Yeah, it's in Hall C, West Hall C. The podcast pop-up, as they call it. I hope we kind of rise up out of the floor, you know. I'm not really sure how it works. Yeah.
Just billowing out.
Yeah. But the second show is a bigger deal, and we're kind of treating it as a bigger deal. So we have the podcast studio, which, like Brad said, has seating. The first 20 people show up. We will provide them with a ticket to our Mass Fuel private party and a Thurrott.com t-shirt. And then the next 20 are going to get a Thurrott.com t-shirt. And then one person will win a Surface Go tablet. And we're also going to provide that person with the Moss Fuel Party invite, a Thurrott.com t-shirt. And if they're not already a premium member, we'll give them a 1-year membership to premium as well. I talked to Mary Jo about this after the fact. It turns out we do know when we're doing our Windows Weekly meetup. We just don't know where. So Windows Weekly is also going to be in the podcast studio. This one is on Tuesday.
Yep.
From 2:15 to 4:15. Oh, I never mentioned the times. I'm sorry. First Ring Daily is 12:30 to 1:30, both Monday and Tuesday, just in a slightly different location in West Hall C. Windows Weekly is at 2:15. So I'll have 45 minutes to rest on Tuesday. That will be nice. and it goes about 2 hours. And we can have a live audience, obviously. And then right after the podcast, somewhere out of the convention center, so anyone can come, we're going to have a Windows Weekly meetup where everyone's invited. I assume, Brad, you're coming, or I'm not sure actually when you're going home, but hopefully you'll come.
What day? Sorry, I already nodded off. What day was that?
Yeah, Tuesday from let's say 4:35 on.
Okay. No, I think I should be. I mean, I'm leaving Wednesday morning, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's about it. And then, Brad and I have vague plans. We're going to record some video on Sunday, hopefully.
Yeah, I think
I'm getting it really early in the mornings, and I think Mary Jo's going to join us too. So, yeah.
And I will point out that the last time Mary Jo joined us was on a tandem bicycle adventure. I don't think we're going to have a tandem bicycle this time.
No. I don't know can we say what we're doing. We don't even really know for sure, but
no, I don't think we should ruin it.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, well,
we went to Disney last year. Let's just put it this way: we went to Disney World last year. Yeah. Brad and I did, and with Brad's family, and this year we're going to do something slightly different. I mean, we won't be going to Disney World Park again, so we'll do something different.
Maybe. Although I will tell you, I specifically wore my Ignite shirt because I am going back to Disney World this year with my family. And
yes.
But
I'm not showing up till Sunday. But you come Friday? You said?
Yeah, we're leaving Friday morning.
Yeah.
So if you're down there and you really want to meet my wife and kid, they will be around at some point. I'm sure Sunday evening, because I think Sunday they're actually going to go to the park again or something. I don't know. My wife's trying to
of course.
Figure it out.
And there's a variety of entertainment options there, obviously.
Yep. So just makes for a nice little fall vacation and all that good stuff. Speaking of things that aren't good stuff, this is really kind of what I meant to put in the show notes that didn't sync that I'm now looking at, is the Google and the Fortnite and where you download it and all that good stuff is kind of turning into a giant, pardon the French, shit show.
I wasn't sure what term you were going to use, but yes. Yeah, as predicted, but a lot of examples of this in the industry. In my article I wrote at the end, Google and Epic, or Google and Tim Sweeney certainly deserve each other. This is a phrase that goes back to something a friend of mine from Microsoft told me possibly 15 years ago, but certainly 10 years ago. He was talking about Dell and Microsoft, and they're partners, but they were also kind of at each other's throats a lot, and you don't see a lot publicly, but the way he said it was, these two companies deserve each other. And Tim Sweeney is an insane person. He's a sociopath. He runs and founded Epic Games. He has been on a multi-year tirade against anyone who has the temerity to create an app store platform and then charge developers anything, And he really doesn't like this 30% tax that Apple and Google and Microsoft and Steam or whatever the percentage is. He doesn't like it. And he has at one time or another railed against all of those things, except Apple, if I'm not mistaken. It's unclear why. But anyway, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, he spent most of the year railing against Microsoft and UWP and what is now called the Microsoft Store, and how the plan was to destroy Steam, another company he hates anyway. Anyway, the logical conclusion to this insanity is that on the most insecure apps platform imaginable, Android, he has decided to forego the bare bones security benefits of going through the Google Play Store and just releasing it out into the open, because what could go wrong?
Sure.
And the other side of this awfulness sandwich is Google, which has a rich history of disclosing security vulnerabilities before they've been patched. Mm-hmm. It kind of adopted a really hard stance. Basically, the deal is give you 90 days to find this thing. If you don't fix it, we're going to go public with it. And the only time they haven't done that was when they discovered the Intel security vulnerability in their processors, the Meltdown and Spectre stuff, because it impacted their stuff. And so Terry Myerson famously railed against this company for this process a couple of years ago publicly. I mean, literally in a Microsoft blog post, actually took them to task. Yeah. Kind of an incredible thing to read. So obviously, Epic releases Fortnite with their own installer. It's one of those things you have to go into Android and say, yeah, it's okay, I want to approve. It's a huge process, but you get the thing installed. and it works poorly. I haven't gotten it to run well on any of my phones, but whatever, it works. Google, a security researcher from Google found a vulnerability in this installer immediately, told Epic Games about it. They said, great, thanks for the heads up, let us fix it. And they were like, yeah, we're just going to disclose it. And they did. And they didn't wait 90 days. And wow, screw these two companies, you know. I can't stand Tim Sweeney. I think he's a charlatan. I'll just point out that Fortnite is an epic ripoff of other battle royale games. The fact that this is the popular one is infuriating to some people, including myself. Whatever. Google obviously comes under a lot of fire from different people. There are some people, our readers, in some cases, who have very visceral reactions to Google. They want nothing to do with Google. They will literally have a substandard online experience because they don't trust Google. They don't want anything to do with maps or search or whatever it might be. I'm a lot more moderate than that when it comes to, you know, what services and products I use and everything. I'm actually not bothered by the Google stuff, except for this. The securely vulnerability thing is insanity. It is the wrong approach. It's been wrong. It was wrong the day they announced it. It was wrong every time they screwed Microsoft over by announcing these vulnerabilities before the company had a chance to fix them. It's wrong today. So 2 wrongs here. Fantastic. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
It is. It is. And you also have to remember that Google is very much against going outside the Google Play Store for obvious monetary reasons. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. I mean, you know, Microsoft, by virtue of the fact that their apps platform has collapsed, offers better deals now than Android or iOS do, but, you know, to a much smaller audience. And Tim Sweeney has pointed out that, you know, even American Express only charges like a single-digit percentage. In that case, I guess it would be an interest, or no, it's a per purchase charge. I guess they have for merchants. Because those things are completely comparable. I don't know. You know, I think he underplays the significance of someone creating a trusted apps platform and store. And, you know, he kind of says it's up to the developer to support it and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, but you didn't list all the things the app platform does for you. And, you know, you don't have to go through it. And that's what they're doing. But you can see the reaction when an incredibly major app, or in this case, game, skips the line. You know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone just on Twitter asked how I was liking 1Password still do.
Yeah.
What my next I haven't gone all in yet though. Like the next big step is going to be purging all my passwords from Chrome. That's when the fan is fired up and material hits it at a great speed. Yeah, I think I'm ready, Paul. I think I'm ready. You need someone to hold your hand. It does simplify things, knowing that your passwords are just in there. Yep. And then inevitably, I'm assuming that will get hacked, and then just all my stuff will be stolen. But I mean, I don't think any different than today. Yeah. I mean, you're taking a chance with any single password solution for sure. Whether it's LastPass or the built-in Google stuff or whatever. I mean, there's no way around. But it really, if somebody came to me and said, would I do LastPass or 1Password again? Having used both pretty extensively, I would pick 1Password any day of the week. Wow, so, really? Yeah. It is not free, but it's one of those things that I think it's like $20 for the year, 20 to $30 for the year, something like that. It is the polish that is on it makes it just that much better. Right. I think I used to pay for LastPass Premium. No, I definitely did, I should say. But it was, there's always a free version. Yep. So. I don't quite remember the difference. We've got that going on. There was something else. Oh, this is jumping back in the time machine, but I will tell you that if you're going to, at Ignite, I was just reading some of the crap that's come in. And I mean, by crap, I mean very loving comments. On Monday, you will be able to watch, actually, last year's, if you remember, or actually the previous 2 years, that podcast studio has been in the same spot, but it was never really convenient, if you remember, because you had to go up some stairs, past the dragon, fight the knights, and then you could sit there. And so on Monday, I believe it's much more centrally located and easy to find. The problem, I think, is that there's just no seating space. I think it's kind of just standing
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, you can stand there and do it. So I think we'll probably go longer on Tuesday because we have giveaways and things, and
Yeah,
that'll be
there's
kind
going
of
to be some
interesting.
big stuff announced on, not at Ignite, but other
Yeah.
stuff announced
Yeah.
at Ignite on Tuesday. That's not Microsoft related, I think.
Okay.
Maybe.
Alrighty.
I'll explain.
He
after the
says
show.
mysteriously and with great foreboding. Yeah. So as we get closer to the event, I'll put up another post right before Ignite on the eve of Ignite or whatever.
Mhm.
And if you just look at a map of, I think it's called West Hall C, it's giant. It's like a conference hall. It's big, and the podcast center is at one end of it, and then the podcast pop up. I think is there more than one or just one?
I think there's just one, and then there's this whole bunch of these sound booth things, but we are not in the sound booths. We are in the actual podcast.
They're
pop-up.
basically right in the middle of that hall.
Mhm.
And we haven't seen it. We haven't stood in front of it yet. But like you said, I think a crowd could easily gather there,
Oh, easily.
become a mob, and then we could take over some stuff.
We could yeah, we could go knock over some booths.
You think those Channel 9 guys can defend themselves? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we could fight them. That's pretty much the only reason why we're not on the podcast studio. Anybody is Monday because Channel 9 is selfishly taking all the time. So save your tomatoes from lunch and throw them at them on Monday.
Well, not too early on Monday. I'm actually doing something with them on Monday.
Well, maybe save your tomatoes from breakfast and throw them at Paul. You got anything else today, Paul?
No, this has been a bizarrely quiet day.
Yeah.
Yesterday, a bunch of stuff happened. There was a bunch of stuff to write about. It was pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
And you have those days you feel kind of good about it. Like I wrote a bunch of stuff yesterday. It was great. I feel really good about it. And then this morning you get up and it's like sifting through a post-apocalyptic world for food. It was like nothing. So I don't know. It's just a weirdness. Hopefully something happens. Maybe we'll get a build today. Maybe it won't have the watermark on it. I don't know.
Mm. Maybe we'll just have some watercolors on it instead.
Yes.
So.
Anything with you, Brad?
Because conveniently my kid gets out of school at noon today because that's what they're doing. And so my little spawn will be running around the house this afternoon, which means limited activity for me probably, if anything. I don't know.
Sure. The first week of school or actually you're in the second week, I guess, but the beginning of school is always kind of a subdued affair. Early days, it starts, they kind of ease them into it. My daughter is ecstatic to be back in school.
Yeah.
Loves getting up early. She's really good at it. so yeah.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for today. We'll be back here tomorrow with more goodness and whatever else hits the wire between now and then.